What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have an amazing episode for everyone today. The market had a pretty crazy just week in general last week. We have a lot of great plays that we're going to be covering in today's video, so make sure to stick around for the end of the video. We're also going to be covering what's going on with AMC stock and then the potential short squeeze. And then on top of that, we have an FOMC meeting this week, and we're going to be basically explaining what's going on there. Overall, we have a ton of great plays and info in today's video. Make sure to stick around to the end as we have a $2.2 million trade we are watching for this week. But Tom, let's get right into today's video.
Yeah, and AMC actually had a great week last week, and we can see that on Friday, it actually started popping up around 16% right off of that $40 support that I've been covering for the past couple of weeks. And, we've been talking about AMC while it was kind of consolidating along that $60 resistance, and it was just trading between $40 and $60 for the past couple of months. And it looks like that's still the case right now as it bounced right off of $40 on Thursday. And then on Friday rose, like I said, up 15 to 16%, having a great day. It is kind of consolidating along that 1,000 SMA, right along the $50 area, which is awesome. But the good news is that AMC looks like it is getting a lot of momentum back, even though it is right along that resistance, and it kind of closed very strong on Friday up at those highs. So I think it was a pretty strong close, and it looks like we might be due for another rise this week in AMC, and definitely look out for somewhere around, $57.50 to $60 as a good resistance. But I know the short float, whenever I was covering it last week, was somewhere around 24%. Now we're sitting somewhere around 12%. So some of the shorts have exited, but at the same time, that might be a good sign because, we did see a little bit of a pop back up on Friday. And I think that now that those shorts are out, a lot of these traders might be able to drive this stock up. And it's just, that might be the reason why AMC flew up on Friday, but it could be a good sign for the week to come. And I think that as long as there's still a lot of hype in here and people start to really jump back into AMC, we might start to see another squeeze this week. Like the short float is still around 12%. So it's not like it's really went too drastically in one way or the other. And I think that just for the week to come, as long as we can pass above 50, I would say $50.50 on Monday morning, then we're going to see a pretty good rise. And, this AMC is very popular. Lots of people talk about it. And whenever it runs, it likes to run very quickly. So look out in pre-market on Monday. If we start to see AMC popping up, like I said, solidly above somewhere around $50, I think it's going to be a pretty good week ahead.
Very interesting. So AMC did have a relatively choppy week last week, but they had an amazing Friday. I was watching them intraday, and they held support right around $42 very well, and they just shot right up off of that level. Either way, they have a lot of hype going into the market for this week. And Tom, you said the main level you're watching is around $50.50, or are you looking at any other different resistance level or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely looking at a few of them for tomorrow morning. I'm definitely gonna be looking at somewhere around $50. It consolidated right along here and just failed to break out above that. So $50 for tomorrow morning. It looks like there's some slight resistance, right around 51 as well. So somewhere between there, I think is going to be a good level. If you really make it break above 51 or $52, I think that would be the safer way to go. But $50 does seem like a solid resistance as well. But if we start to see a pretty big rise on Monday, I'm definitely going to be eyeing out a couple more levels, like $55 and then $60. I think those all look like pretty solid supports. And I really like how this stock is starting to really move back above some of these SMAs and just kind of hold its own ground. It's honestly looking like a pretty good setup now. Earlier last week, on Wednesday and on Thursday, it honestly was looking pretty bad. We saw a couple pretty bad days on AMC, but it's awesome to see it recovering up like this, how it did on Friday. And I just love how it's holding these SMAs and everything, but definitely looking at $55 and $60 if we start to go up at some solid resistance levels.
All right, so Tom, heading into the market this week, We have the market at all-time highs. We have an FOMC meeting. And then on top of that, we have AMC starting to rebound. And then we also have growth stocks finally starting to what appears to be really come back. We have NIO up around 7%, Zoom up around 6%. We're even seeing some good movement out of Enphase, Palantir, and Redfin. So overall, we have a lot of things going on. But what's going on with this FOMC meeting this week?
Yeah, this is going to affect a ton of stocks. And like you said, the SPY is right around all-time highs, just kind of hovering around that high at 424.63. And we closed very strong Friday in the overall market, which was great. But CNBC reports that investors will be zeroing in on the Fed's statement at the conclusion of its two-day policy meeting on Wednesday against a background of persistent concerns over whether inflation spikes could pressure the central bank to start tapering its stimulus sooner than expected. But the Fed has repeatedly said that near-term spikes will not translate into lasting inflation, and that Chairman Powell is expected to stick to his stance and reassure that the market's Fed policy will remain accommodative. Away from the Fed meeting, the U.S. is to release May data on retail sales and producer price inflation on Tuesday. And this comes right as banks also got crushed. Like we see the overall market at all-time highs, like the SPY hovering up here. And like I said, they're kind of expected to just keep their policies the same right now and just continue buying bonds, and they're just going to continue their asset purchasing programs and everything like that. So that they're pretty much expected to keep the same stance, which is good for the market because overall the market's been doing great with this type of policy, and it looks like that we're just hovering right around these highs. Might start to break out, but the banks got crushed. Like if we go look at Bank of America last week, they're down pretty big from their highs. Looks like they're going to start, tapering off a little bit. JP Morgan also coming down, Goldman Sachs coming down as well. And, I don't know if they're kind of expecting the Fed to change their policy or to talk about maybe changing interest rates or what, but man, the banks definitely have not been liking this inflation news. And ever since that came out last week, it just seems like that these banks have just went straight down from their highs. And I don't know if this is a sign for the overall economy to come or not, but it's definitely interesting to see banks getting crushed ever since we started reporting that 5% inflation, which is not expected to stay. So it's kind of strange to see the overall market going up, but the banks flying down like they are.
Alrighty, so definitely be on the lookout for that FOMC meeting this Wednesday. But now let's get right into our member of the day and then the momentum plays. Today's member of the day is Go. Huge shout out, Go. Thanks for being a great member of the Discord, always asking great questions, and just overall, thank you so much for being a positive member. We really appreciate it. But now let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. And with the first one, we have Neo to the upside.
Yeah, Neo actually had a great day last week, like you said. Make them break up above 46.26.
All right, with the next one, we have Penn, Penn.
Penn Gaming, go ahead and make them. It seems like there's a pretty solid resistance here at $84, so make them break that.
All right, and with the last one, we have Zoom,
ZN, the best one of Friday, but make them break above 368.
Sounds good. So we're watching NIO, Penn, and Zoom for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the levels Tom listed. In Zoom, I'm definitely biased on it. This is one of my favorite stocks. Like I said, I'm definitely biased on it. I started buying it around May 13th. We picked up call options on it for around $3,100 on May 13th, and right now they're over $8,000 each. If you want to get trades like that from Tom and I every single day, you can click the first link in the description down below for about $40 off, and you'll also get access to all of our bots. But keep your eye on those three stocks. And now let's get right into the $2.2 million options trade for this Friday. We are looking at the Airbnb 150 strike call options that expire this Friday, June 18th. Airbnb, honestly, it looks decent. I've been watching it for the past couple weeks, and it's been trying to run up, but it's just been struggling a little bit right around this like $150 area. I have a feeling that Airbnb is about to bounce up. I think the next time it touches this 150 resistance, it looks like it'll be able to hold it, and that's just my opinion. Either way, I'm definitely going to be watching this options trade right here. Like I said, there was around $2.2 million put into these call options on Friday. personally, I like the setup, and it's definitely going to be on my radar.
Yeah, mine too. I actually really like this. It looks pretty good. I like how there's a couple of green days heading into this as well. It almost looks like the stock's going to just start steadily like stair stepping itself back to the upside. And it's definitely due to recover back. Airbnb has gotten hurt quite a bit. It is kind of bouncing also off of that 130 support and also really holding those levels. So yeah, I really like it. I think if we can break above 150, that'll definitely be a good one to watch for Monday. And overall, like we've been seeing these growth stocks like Airbnb, Palantir, Zoom, all of them getting crushed lately, and now they're all starting to recover back up. And like we're seeing like with Zoom starting to really fly up. I would kind of expect some of these other growth stocks to possibly follow along in Zoom's footsteps. I think Zoom might be one of the better stocks with a better fundamental backing that just are kind of running first, and the overall market might kind of not the overall market, but the overall growth sector might kind of follow in their footsteps.
Alrighty, well, let's get right into our questions from the previous episode. And with the first question, we have Rich saying, is BABA still a good play around 213? So personally, I like the setup. BABA has been getting hammered for like the past almost like 7 months now. Like it's been getting hammered for a while, big time. And they are a solid company fundamentally. They are right at that 210 support. They will definitely be on my radar to the upside. Tom, do you have any like thoughts or levels on this one?
Yeah, there's a huge support, like you said, around 210. That's definitely posing as the best long-term support for BABA right now. And it's bounced off of it quite a few times. I think it's in a pretty good setup as well. It scares me a little bit because it is a Chinese stock. And it seems like, I was kind of expecting news with China to maybe get better over the next couple of years, but it seems like that we just keep seeing bad news come out about the US implementing some new policies against China, or we're starting like some type of new program to kind of like look into China and like what they're doing and their different types of actions. So it just is a little bit scary given that, but I like the company. I like how it's down here at support. I would say if you're going to get shares, it's definitely a decent time to do so. Even if it goes down to $200, you're still not losing that much on it. If you got options, I think that would be a lot scarier to get right now with all this negative news going on with BABA. But I definitely think it's a good time to get shares for the longer term down here around this support. I think it'll be all right, but just keep in mind that China is having some like black swan events or like some crazy news come out. So just be a little careful with that.
All right, and then we have Enrique saying Wish is valued at $20 per stock. Wish is the perfect stock to short squeeze because it is at a discount now, but not in the future. This is the next eBay, but better. I'm in with 29K Wednesday at $10.82 that I will hold to $25 or short squeeze. So good comment there. Looking at Wish, I know they had a nice pop up last week. Tom, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. It was popping pretty good last week. Unfortunately, besides that one day where it really flew up, there wasn't really too much movement besides then. It just kind of went flat and consolidated around $10. But I agree, I think that Wish could be one of those decent stocks that could have it actually short squeeze. And I know last week their short float was pretty high, but right now it's only 6.5% according to StockBot. So it's not like the short float is tremendously high or anything like that. It's a little bit higher on AMC right now, but overall we're seeing a lot of good movement with it. I think if it holds $10, it could be a pretty good setup for next week. It definitely had a great day, last Tuesday. It really flew up, flying from, around $8 all the way up to 17 in after hours. And I know lots of people were watching it that day, but it just got crushed, obviously for the rest of the week. And we'll just have to see what happens with the week going ahead. But I think there's a solid resistance up around $11. And I would make it break above that.
All right, so it's not my favorite setup. I don't think it's a bad setup. It's just like okay to me. But either way, I definitely will have my eyes on it. Tom, I'm not sure if you saw, but Wish actually like bought Dan Bilzerian's old house, and they're like using it as like a TikTok house or something like that. But overall, I just thought I'd bring it up because it's good for like branding and just like marketing for the company itself.
Yeah, no, I hadn't actually heard that, Mike, but you know what? I kept hearing that guy's name last week, and that must be the reason why.
Yeah. All right. Well, Tom, do you have any last minute stocks, options, or anything you're watching heading into the market this week? I know we have a lot going on with the FOMC meeting, AMC. You could say growth stocks starting to pop back up, and then on top of that, we have the market at all-time highs.
Yeah, definitely going to be watching these growth stocks. I think that there's a lot of opportunities coming ahead, like with DraftKings, Palantir, Zoom. Even I know that Zoom popped a lot on Friday, but there's still potential there. And even like with DraftKings, like they're all sitting right around some of their resistances. Like DraftKings is like right around the $55 resistance. If we can start to break that, it's going to be a very good play. I'm also going to be eyeing up these banks. Like whenever we go to like a JP Morgan max daily chart, you can see how much they're actually up, and they're up a lot from their COVID highs as well. Their high before COVID was $140, and now they hit $167, and they're starting to come back down a little bit. So definitely watching the banks and the overall market this week. We've been seeing the SPY at all-time highs, but the banks are just kind of lagging behind. And I'm definitely going to have my eye on number one, the SPY, and then number two, the banks, just to kind of see how they're moving, because it's just very interesting movement to me. And like whenever we have this type of movement on banks heading into like FOMC meetings and with inflation talk, I think it's almost showing people that, the banks are a little worried or something like that's going on. So we'll definitely have to see, how the banks update themselves and like what the Fed says next Wednesday. But the SPY is right around all-time highs. Looks like it's going to try to break out. If it breaks out above 424.63, I think the SPY is going to be one of the better symbols to watch for next week. It's going to do very well if it could break that all-time high and start to run, but only look at it though if it can break that high, because it's kind of triple topped up here. So if it doesn't break that, it's probably not going to be the best of weeks for the overall market. But overall, it looks pretty strong, like it's going to break that, and it possibly run way up above like 425, possibly up to like 426 or 427 next week.
All right, so the top four stocks I'm watching are Zoom, Palantir, Penn, Penn, and then Enphase. So the four growth stocks, those are my favorite ones. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you want to trade with Tom and I every single day, plus get access to our day trading, swing trading, unusual options activity bots, click the first link in the description down below, and you'll save about $40. You'll save about $40 from doing that. And then also, if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. And also, come join Tom and I live every single day at Market Open on the new Stocked Up live channel. The link for that is in the description down below. But other than that, thanks for watching.